right. Welcome to another episode of... Well, actually, this is the first episode of using essential oils to support emotional well-being. Actually, it's going to be much more than that. We're going to give you other tips for feeling amazing and badass, because I'm here to tell you, essential oils are powerful, but they're not silver bullets. You know, you got to have some certain foundations in place. And so I felt like this might be a good time for me to make some plugs about some of our other foundational principles, because I'm kind of envisioning that other people may be watching this that haven't gone through the superhuman transformation and feel absolutely freaking amazing, right? So we're going to talk about some foundational things, and then we're definitely going to talk about essential oils too. And I plan on this thing lasting about 30, 35, 40 minutes or something like that. And I just love this music. I'd love to let it play out, but we're going to get moving on with this. All right, so things that are absolutely necessary for feeling amazing and feeling like a badass. You have to have certain nutritional components, right? And that makes sense because nutrients are the precursors to anything and everything that happens inside the body. It contributes to function and form throughout, right? And then also we need to have in place circadian rhythms, right? Our circadian rhythms set. We'll talk a little bit more about what that is briefly. And then I would say that things that can be extremely supportive would be having a personal process in place. And what I mean by that is you need to sit and think about what you want in your life, and you need to dream, and you need to have goals, and you need to have this little thing where you do this on a daily basis. I can't imagine my life without it. Like, I think it's one of the biggest contributing factors to me just feeling amazing every day and having a really positive outlook on everything and all these great things happening in my life is because I sit and think about what I want in my life on a daily basis. You know, I envision. I have a whole process that we teach during our superhuman transformation, but you got to have a personal process in place, right? And then also essential oils can be extremely supportive in the context of doing all these other things right. So let's talk about a few things first. The first thing is cholesterol, right? Why in the heck am I bringing up cholesterol in a talk like this? Well, cholesterol is extremely important inside the body. Every freaking cell inside the body can make cholesterol, and it has a lot of different roles as far as brain function and emotional well-being. So I'm probably going to get sick of saying emotional well-being throughout this entire thing, so I don't know, I may come up with an abbreviation for it. But anyway, at the level of the cells, cholesterol is in every cell membrane. It helps maintain the rigidity of the cell membrane, but also helps facilitate the transfer of nutrients across the cell membrane. Also holds up hormone receptor sites, right, which are protein-based. I think a lot of people have heard this. Maybe they don't understand that cholesterol is the precursor to many hormones inside the body, specifically the steroidal hormones. So it's important for hormonal balance. And I've got some different information here listed. Glucocorticoids help with our stress and immune response. Our mineralocorticoids help with mineral balance. We have certain things like DHEA and testosterone, which contribute to libido and memory and anti-aging functions inside the body. Progesterone is extremely important, especially with female hormonal balance. And then estradiol is extremely important for brain health, especially in women as well. And we all hear about things that are important associated with vitamin D. Vitamin D synthesis at the level of the skin in combination with things like sunlight, happen because of cholesterol. All right, if we didn't have cholesterol, we wouldn't have that stuff happen. And then also cholesterol plays important roles as far as learning and memory. All right, so most of our cholesterol synthesis inside our body happens when we sleep. All right, that's really interesting. So when we rest and sleep, the body makes a ton of cholesterol because it uses it for all kinds of different things. Now, did you know that the brain only weighs about 2% of the total weight of the body, but it accounts for 25% of the body's total cholesterol, right? So the brain is like almost all fat and cholesterol, right? And the reason for that is that cholesterol is what we know as the glial factor needed for proper synapse formation, which basically means that all our communication between the different nerves and neurons inside our brain and throughout our body are dependent upon cholesterol to form properly. Did you know that? Can you imagine like what being on a low-fat diet your entire life and low cholesterol diet your entire life has had as far as impacts on your brain function and stuff and emotions? Like, it's huge, and then we see it all over the place. Right? So, and most people wouldn't argue that the human mind is what makes us us. It gives us this ability to imagine and think and study and learn and create and remember and have new ideas and form relationships and form families. So cholesterol is extremely important, if not the most important thing. I mean, everything is important, but cholesterol is extremely important, right? Now, what's interesting is your body makes a lot of cholesterol. Approximately 75% of the cholesterol inside the body is made internally, and about 25% comes from the foods that we eat. So that's significant. 25% is significant. But the takeaway that I want you to take from this is that if I have cholesterol in abundance in my diet, then my body is getting a signal of abundance overall. All right. And so it's much more free to make hormones and produce things. And, this is when we start to see more fertility and reproductive capacity. All right. Now, if I restrict my dietary cholesterol and my dietary fat, my body can still make it internally, but it's a workout, it's a stress. And so we want to give the body a signal of abundance so it can do all the things that it needs to do and it doesn't feel stressed out, right? So even though the body can make a lot of cholesterol, it's extremely beneficial to have it inside the diet. All right. Also, tryptophan is a necessary nutrient. I think we've all heard about tryptophan. Most of us probably understand tryptophan from eating turkey and getting tired, or at least a little urban myths associated with it or whatever, right? But what's really interesting about tryptophan, it is an amino acid. When it's broken down, it's the precursor to serotonin, which is one of our feel-good hormones, right? Serotonin, in turn, can be converted into melatonin. And melatonin has a lot of different functions inside the body. We think about melatonin in sleep, and it definitely helps you cycle through your deeper phases of sleep and recuperation. But it also has a very calming effect on the body in certain situations, right? So it's used throughout the day by the body to some degree. And then tryptophan is also the precursor to vitamin B3, which has a huge impact on the nervous system and energy. So my point here is, we talk about cholesterol and the importance of it with brain function and emotional health and well-being. And then now tryptophan is extremely important because of its role with serotonin and then also its role with vitamin B3. Sources of tryptophan, and then something at the end of that slide there, deficiencies we now see contribute to depression, anxiety, and stress and those types of things, right? So sources of tryptophan, which is really interesting, game meats, right? So things like elk and deer, and then spinach is really high in tryptophan, which is really cool because I eat spinach almost every day. All right, seafood, specifically crustaceans, very high in tryptophan, pork, goat, and then poultry like duck and turkey. Now, I've had some great experience in my private practice working with people who don't have strong digestion that can actually use a metabolite, which is a precursor to, it's an intermediate, when tryptophan is broken down, 5-HTP is one of these intermediate metabolites, and I've seen a lot of people do really well with it. So I sell this in my practice. If you're here locally, you want to give it a shot. You have to do it in the right dosing and things, or else you have the opposite effect that you're looking for. But anyway, it's another source of something that could be beneficial. Now, I want to talk really quick about digestion because we can eat all the tryptophan in the world, but if we don't have strong enough digestion to break it down, then we're not getting those metabolites and those precursors to serotonin and these other functions that we need. So when I eat food and I have this bolus of food that I chew up in the mouth and I masticate, then that bolus goes down through the cardiac sphincter into the stomach. And in the stomach, I'm supposed to secrete high levels of hydrochloric acid, right, to help digest the food there. At the same time, my body is secreting a layer of mucosa, which actually protects it from the hydrochloric acid. And then we also secrete this thing called pepsin. It's a protein digesting enzyme. All right. So the stomach, the upper GI, is all about assimilating proteins and minerals because of this hydrochloric acid or this high acidic content, right? So this may be going too far into this realm, but I think it's really interesting to cover anyway. All right, on the right-hand side of this slide here, we have the pH scale, right? So the pH scale has, on the scale of 0, we have pure acidity. On the scale of 14, we have pure alkalinity. All right, so every tick mark in between here is actually exponential increases or decreases, right? So orange juice is not, 1 time more acidic than tomato juice. It's 10 times more acidic. And lemon juice is 100 times more acidic. And gastric acid is 1,000 times more acidic, right? So the stomach is all about an acid pH of about 1.5 to 3. And hydrochloric acid is excreted into the stomach at a pH of about 0.8. And that is almost pure acid. That means that if you took that stuff and you poured it on the floor, it would eat through the floor like aliens, And it's meant to be that way because guess what? Hydrochloric acid bathes the stomach, it disinfects the stomach, and it also kills pathogens. It's our first line of defense. And then, remember from before, we talked about this protein digesting enzyme called pepsin. Pepsin is only activated at a certain pH, and the stomach has to be at a certain acidic level to activate pepsin, and pepsin is what allows us to digest proteins properly. So my point here is, with all this digestion stuff, we can eat all the tryptophan in the world, but if we have weak digestion, we're not getting the things that we need to make serotonin properly, and we're not getting the things that we need to contribute to the production of vitamin B3 and some other things, all right? So typically when people come into our realm and they start eating real food and they start following our protocols, like their digestion strengthens automatically because, we see it. Like people just lose digestive issues and they come off of, acid blockers and Pepcid AC and all that kind of stuff. So, but just understand, if you still suffer from digestive issues, you can reach out and we can definitely help you with that. All right. Another set of nutrients that's going to be extremely beneficial for emotional well-being and health is going to be the fat-soluble factors, vitamins A and D and all their different derivatives, and then also EPA and DHA, which we hear a lot about in the news for brain health and brain function. One of the best places to get these nutrients all in one is a product that we sell here in my office called infused coconut oil through Green Pastures. So if you're here locally, you don't pay shipping, come and get it at a cheaper price than you get it on their website. But infused coconut oil has organic cold pressed coconut oil. It's infused with fermented cod liver oil, skate liver oil, and high vitamin butter oil. And I could talk for hours just about this one specific supplement. I wouldn't even consider it a supplement. It's like a superfood. It's freaking awesome. All right. But what we're really looking for here is some of the things that are associated with brain health and clear thinking and emotional well-being. So specifically vitamins A, D, and then EPA and DHA, which are fatty acids. Right. So another beneficial thing, right? Now, you want to make sure that you have your circadian rhythms set. If you don't know where circadian rhythms are, we go through this in detail in my progressions. But basically, circadian rhythms are aligning yourself with the rising and setting of the sun on the earth and syncing yourself with this master clock so that you have proper hormonal balance and you have proper sleep patterns and stress levels and those types of things, right? The two biggest ways to set your circadian rhythms are, number one, to get 30 minutes of bright outdoor light exposure every single day, right? There is a purpose. We have co-evolved with the sun, right? We wouldn't be here without the sun, all right? So the rising of the sun and the bright light in the sky gives us indications inside our body about how to produce hormones, when to produce hormones, when to be alert, and when to go to bed, all right? So accumulating 30 minutes of bright outdoor light exposure is crucial. It doesn't have to be all at once. It can be in little 5-minute bursts throughout the day. It's cumulative. And we're not talking about sunbathing here. We're just simply talking about just being out in the bright light, getting that brightness in your eyes so that you're squinting, so you can be under an awning, you can be under a tree, having lunch outside under a deck or something like that, and that's perfectly fine. All right, the next best thing that you can help to do to set circadian rhythms is going to be what we call in our community Operation Lights Out, which means at night you are committing to making your room an electronics-free zone, except for maybe an alarm clock, but you want the room to be completely dark. You want your cell phone powered off or in airplane mode, because when it's on, all these signals are interacting with your body and keeping you from sleeping. All right. You want your wireless, ideally your wireless routers unplugged or off, and then you want minimal electronics in the room. All right. You want to stay off your phone and stuff. I would recommend an hour or 2 hours before actually trying to be in bed to go to sleep, like completely getting off of your computer and cell phones and things, because the bright lights from your cell phones and computers confuse your body as far as what time of day it is, and the stimulus keeps you active at night, All right. And then we call our personal process every day superhuman priming, right? It's basically sitting down and having a session where we go through what we call a circle of gratitude, which is basically being grateful, right? We have a little structured way of doing things, but circle of gratitude. And then we also meditate. We learn how to meditate in our progression. Minimum 5 minutes, I'd say, to try to bump it up to 15, 20 minutes if you can. And then we do what we call envisioning, which is basically sitting there and thinking about what you want in your life. And again, we have a structured, deliberate way of doing things with it. Meditation, extremely powerful. Like, I can't even explain the benefits as far as like emotional well-being and mental health and focus and clarity. The two things that you nurture when you learn how to meditate properly are awareness and creativity, right? So a meditation session, and you probably need to learn a little bit more about it from an expert or by going through our progression or working with someone like me. But really, it's all about having a focus and noticing your mind drift. And if you cultivate that during a sitting session every day for 15 or 20 minutes, then you're going to see all kinds of crazy stuff happen in your life, right? You're going to see increased focus and awareness in your daily activities, and you're also going to notice a lot more creativity and inspiration. It's super, super powerful, right? If you're not plugged into that stuff, then you just need to plug into me and us and our community, because it's freaking amazing. All right, so let's talk a little bit about essential oils. We should all be familiar with essential oils and how they work in our systems and how to get them into our system. One of the main and easiest ways to get it into our system is aromatic, which means you can breathe in, the scents from these oils through a diffuser, or just by smelling it from a bottle, or you can rub it on your skin and smell it from your skin, right? So that is going to get inside your system relatively quickly, a little bit less concentrated versus comparing it to topical. So if I apply essential oils to a specific location on my body, I get a localized effect, but then I also get what we call systemic effects because they get absorbed into the blood system and bloodstream. And then, of course, you're still smelling it because every time you apply it, you're going to smell it anyway. So it's still going to be aromatic. And then internal means you would ingest it either just directly in your mouth by dropping it in your mouth or doing it sublingual, or you can put it in capsules and ingest it that way. So just to discuss a little bit about how this works, when I apply essential oils to my skin through dermal application, I get localized effects. So if I apply, let's say that I have a little bit of an acne episode that broke out on my face, which I don't ever have, but just hypothetically. And then I wanted to use some Melaleuca, so I could use Melaleuca or tea tree oil and apply it to that little area. And there's probably some other oils that would be recommended for that. But then not only do I have this localized effect or benefit, but also once the oil gets absorbed into the body and gets past the epidermis and into the interstitial fluid, then the capillaries have the ability to absorb it. And then we get all these constituents floating throughout the body, throughout the bloodstream, and hitting all these different organs and things. Now, what does that have to do with brain health? Well, there's certain things that actually have the potential to cross the blood-brain barrier, and the blood-brain barrier is very restrictive about what it lets to cross. But we have certain things that we've seen through the scientific literature, through studies and things like, I'm not sure how to say this, all right, sesquiterpenes. All right, so sesquiterpenes are found very high in some essential oils, specifically like frankincense and sandalwood and some other things. And these have been shown to cross the blood-brain barrier and have a direct impact on the brain. Now, as an indirect way of impacting the brain, we have the olfactory bulb. So even if oil does not cross the blood-brain barrier, we can still activate the brain through the olfactory bulb, right? Odors and emotions are processed in a similar brain structures in the limbic system. The sense of smell is unique in the fact that no other sensory system makes this kind of direct, intense contact with the neural substrates of emotion and memory, which may explain why we have these odor-based memories all the time, right? So when I smell something, I'm impacting the system, the brain system directly. And then also the amygdala, which is also inside that little area. The amygdala is one of the easiest ways to stimulate this gland and get the amygdala is kind of known for storing and releasing emotional trauma. So if I can activate and stimulate this gland, then that would be an extremely beneficial thing. All right. So now, the best places to apply oils, and we go through this when I teach classes here locally, would be, you hear a lot about applying it to the bottom of the feet, and that's absolutely great because there's big pores in the bottom of the feet, and we can notice that we get systemic effects relatively quickly when we apply it to the bottom of the feet. I also like the back of the wrist, or let's say the back of the wrist, the wrist right there where the thumb is on this picture here, all right, because that's soft tissue, and then we also have direct access to those different veins and arteries in the arm. So, and then I also, especially for emotional well-being and just mental clarity and focus and things like that, I like to apply it to the back of the neck and then also rub behind the ears. Those are all great places to get systemic effects. Now, something that I like to use and teach, especially when we're talking about emotional well-being, God, I got to find an abbreviation for that, is going to be the auricular points inside the ears, right? So you can see here in this chart, and you get a copy of this chart is inside Modern Essentials, which all my clients get if they sign up for oils with us. You can see all these different points that you can actually massage and have an impact. They're like reflex points, right? So they'll have an impact on various organs and organ systems. And specifically, what I'd recommend here is looking at the brain area, all right? So the brain area you can see right there in purple, and it's inside, I don't know what to call it, the cleft of the ear, at the bottom portion of that ear. And if you push inside the ear and massage that little point right there, then that would be stimulating the brain area as far as the reflex points goes. And reflex points are basically these direct pathways, neural pathways to these different organs and brains and systems. All right, so what I recommend right now, just for a second, you can try taking both fingers and doing both ears at the same time. Find that little cleft, push towards the back, and then massage in a circular motion. And you should start to notice some kind of a stimulating effect. All right. So another great thing about applying essential oils to the feet is going to be that we have the reflex points on the feet, right? So, and specifically for emotional well-being, look at the big toe. We have the brain, the pineal gland, and the pituitary gland. All right, so if I apply oils to my entire foot and then I massage my big toe, that's going to have a stimulating effect on my brain system and pituitary system and pineal system. And then also on the left foot, we have what we call the thymus point. And the thymus point is right inside that big bone when you're massaging your foot, right? So I'm going to go through a little demo here in just a second. So I'd highly recommend applying oils for the specific benefit of focus and emotional well-being and those types of things to the back of the neck, the back of the ears, massaging those auricular points inside the ears, inhaling it. I'm going to demo that here in a second, then also applying to the bottom of the feet, massaging the big toes, and massaging the thymus point. Now, if you have the Home Essentials kit or the Family Physician kit, which is at a minimum what we recommend most of our people get into initially because it has a kit of all these different oils that most people use on a regular basis, then if that's all you have, you can look up conditions in Modern Essentials such as anxiety and focus and emotions and anything associated with what we're talking about here as far as emotional well-being goes. And you'll see some common things kind of stick out. And so what we find is that lavender is extremely beneficial, lemon and peppermint. Now, lavender, lemon, and peppermint all have their own unique properties. And so what we find is some of our clients find that lavender is a little bit more neutral, right? A little bit more calming, a little bit more, something along those lines, right? Whereas some of the citrusy things like lemon tend to be a little bit more stimulating, and then also peppermint is definitely stimulating. That's not a bad thing, but we're just saying if you're trying to improve emotional well-being, but you don't want to be stimulated, maybe you would gravitate more towards lavender or some lavender-based blends versus someone like me. When I want emotional well-being and I want to feel good, I like stimulation. I'm one of those kind of people. So, but anyway, I would try this single blend incorporating each one of these blends or single oils, by themselves and layering them just to see how your body responds to them and see which ones you resonate with the best. But I'll tell you, this combo of these 3 oils is extremely powerful. It's awesome. All right. So next we have some blends that are really awesome. All right. So Balance I use on a daily basis. I absolutely love Balance. It's just freaking phenomenal. It's one of the less expensive blends that you have access to through doTERRA as well. And you can see here some of the ingredients: spruce needle leaf, hoe wood, frankincense, blue tasney flower, blue chamomile flower, a little bit of fractionated coconut oil, and their description here promotes whole body relaxation, soothes sore muscles and joints, evokes feelings of tranquility and balance. I just like it. I really actually notice a difference when I apply this to my feet, my back, and my neck. I almost always use it every morning and then before I go into workouts. All right, another great blend is going to be Citrus Bliss. So citrus tends to be stimulating in the oil realm. This is a blend of wild orange, lemon peel, grapefruit peel, mandarin peel, bergamot, tangerine, clementine, and then a little bit of vanilla bean absolute, which makes it smell just, unbelievably great. I use it to diffuse in my office all the time. So again, very stimulating, helps with mood, helps to energize people. I even notice this in my clients when I'm sitting here visiting with them. Another great blend is going to be Elevation, a little bit more expensive. You can see here the wholesale price is $37, but it's got some really powerhouse oils blended into it. Very, very strong smelling too. A lot of people love it, so I like to kind of dilute it or blend it with Balance sometimes or something else. And then also a great one for the evening or for people that are really revved up and kind of, hyperactive and stressed out is going to be Serenity. So it's what they call their calming blend. And I love it for sleep at night. So I'll diffuse it in my room at night and I'll also put some on my chest and a couple of drops on my pillow. But I've also got some clients that use it throughout the day because they just tend to be so kind of high wired and stressed out, So something else that's been brought to my attention lately, which is considered to be more of a female blend, is called Clary Calm. And I think it's worth trying out. All right. So again, you have your single oils that come in your initial kit. And once you start to venture out and purchase other oils, I would recommend experimenting with these other blends. Balance, I would say, is just it's amazing because it's a grounding blend. It really is. It's not stimulating and it's not calming. It's just the best of all worlds. And then you can experiment with those other ones as well. So let's watch this little video that I put together on applying these oils. I hope it's beneficial. Hey y'all, Paul C. Tarina here. Going to go over a little brief demo on how to use these oils for emotional health and well-being. First of all, if you're going to use single oils, then I would recommend layering them. You can blend them beforehand if you want to, but I think that layering has a little bit more of a profound impact, and you can see how your body responds to these different oils individually. The ones that come in the Home Essentials kit or the Family Physician kit, so if you haven't ordered any additional oils outside of those kits, are lemon, peppermint, and then also lavender. So they all have their own unique properties. Combined together, they're very synergistic, but again, I would layer them, but you may find that the peppermint and lemon are a little bit more stimulating, the lavender tends to be a little bit more calming, and you may find that certain ones resonate with you and certain ones don't. So what I'd highly recommend is remember our key points that we want to apply these things to: the back of the neck, right? Also behind the ears, we want to massage our auricular points inside the ears here. I think the wrists are going to be a great area because you also get all that smell and that inhalation. And remember, we want to impact the limbic system, the olfactory bulb, and then also the amygdala. So, and then you can also rub the bottom of your feet. So just real quick, I'm going to show you how I would apply these oils to the back of the neck. All right. So first I'm going to apply lemon. I'm just going to turn the bottle up, put a couple drops in my hand, rub my hands together, and then I'll rub the back of my neck like this. All right. After rubbing the back of my neck, I'll always follow behind the ears, and then I'll always massage my auricular points inside the ears. All right. And if the demo video isn't very good there, you're basically coming in this little cleft right here at the bottom of the ear, and then pushing in and massaging these little points right here on both sides. All right. And then I would take the hands and do a really good strong inhale, and then go on to the next one if you're doing single oils. All right. So here I have peppermint. We're just going to do a couple of drops, one drop. Peppermint's kind of strong, right? Rub between your hands, massage the back of your neck, wipe the back of your ears, massage the inside of your ears and these auricular points, do a big inhalation, and then finalize or finish with your third oil. You don't have to do them in this order, and here we have lavender. Right? Lavender everybody loves. Rub them together, rub the back of your neck, behind the ears, massage your auricular points, and do a big inhalation. All right. If you're doing any of the blends, you can do them one at a time. You can layer them as well. So have some fun with it. All right. Also, you can experiment with rubbing in your wrist. Put a couple drops in your wrist. Inhale it for sure. Let it get into your system. Remember, we have what we call localized effects, but then there's also systemic effects. So when it gets into your capillaries and your blood system, it gets to go throughout the entire body. So super powerful. All right, so we're going to go over a foot application demo. So remember, the feet are one of the greatest areas to apply oils to. We have really big pores in our feet, and it tends to have a very fast systemic reaction, meaning it gets through the entire system relatively quickly. And then the other benefit of the feet is that you also have the reflex points of the feet. So if you massage these various reflex points, the reflex points actually send nerve signals throughout the rest of the body and through certain systems and organ systems, and so you can have an impact on specific areas. And then theoretically, if you're applying oils to those different reflex points, you're getting like this, 1-2 punch with the oil benefits in combination with this massaging. All right, so and it feels great, So I'm going to use one of my favorite blends that I use on a regular basis, like all day, every day, which is Balance. Right. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops on my hand. So all it takes is a couple of drops. All right. And then I'm going to massage into my foot. My entire foot. And then remember from the chart, our brain points are right here in the big toe. That's also where we have our pituitary and pineal, right? Or pineal. I don't know how you say that, sorry. All right, so if I'm massaging this, then I'm getting some activity in those areas, right? And since this is my left foot, my thymus point is also right inside this big bone right here, right? So I can massage that area as well. So every time I apply especially for the benefits of emotional well-being and emotional stability and confidence and energy, then I'm going to massage my entire foot, and then I'm also going to massage my big toe, and then I'm also going to massage inside this bone on the left foot, right? Now I'll take the same oil, right? And then I'll also apply it to my right foot. Now the right foot as well, on the big toe, you have the brain, pineal, and pituitary, right? And then you don't have the thymus on the inside of that, so I just rub the entire foot. And then I put my shoes on and I go about my day, or my activity, whatever the heck it is that I'm doing. It's all badass, by the way. All right, I hope that was useful. Now, some resources you can always look into to look up what oils to use for specific conditions. Everythingessential.me. We all love to use that. AromaticScience.com is a place that you can find supporting scientific literature for essential oils. And then the Modern Essentials book is a great resource. They also have an application for the iPhone. I think it's for the Android as well. Anyone that signs up for essential oils through me actually gets a copy of this book. And then you also have access to all our different resources. So we have monthly support group meetings, and we have like a plethora of people that have done this for a very long time, much longer than me, that we can always ask questions to and get support for specific conditions and situations. What we recommend is, if you haven't signed up with doTERRA just yet, we recommend that you buy a kit. And if you buy a kit, you automatically get enrolled as a wholesale member, what they call a wellness advocate. Now, the great thing about the wellness advocate is you get access to wholesale prices, but you only have to purchase one time a year to maintain that wholesale status. You don't have to sell anything, although you'll get a lot of information on building a business around doTERRA. Some people don't. Some people are just consumers and just use it. You get your own website that you can place orders through, and you can customize your URL. So if you want to share your website with other people, and I mean, what happens is most people end up getting into oils and they start using them, and they can't help but share the message because they'll be around someone that's having a headache or a migraine or a digestive issue, and you're like, hey, I got something for that. I got an oil that works for that really well. And then you just automatically start sharing it. You might as well benefit from it. So you get your own website for placing orders, and then you have a minimum of 25% savings on retail pricing. And then depending on how much you order and how frequently, you may get up to 55% back through what they call loyalty reward system, which is basically getting product points back. All right. So there's a wealth of online resources, book resources, and we have a team of people to support you throughout your entire journey. All right. So to sign up for more information, you can go to paulcterina.com/oils, and there's a whole little instructional thing there. You can just contact us directly and we can walk you through it. All right. When you spend $50 a month or more, you qualify for doTERRA's loyalty rewards point system, which means that for every $50 you spend for the first 3 months, you get 10 points back in product credit that you can buy additional product. After you've done that for up to a year, you get up to 30 points back for every $100 that you spend. So you get, I have, hundreds of dollars right now that I need to use that I've built up in my loyalty reward point system. If you end up spending $100 a month or more, it qualifies you for commissions, which means that if you end up referring people into the business, they become a part of your team. And anytime they place orders, you'll make a little bit of a commission on it, which is not why we're in this, but it's a great additional benefit and bonus. And then if you end up spending $125 or more a month, then you usually qualify for their product of the month, And in this case, I don't know what time you'll be watching this, but in this month right now, it's lemongrass, which I love lemongrass, and I use it, and I've recommended it for several specific situations for clients. All right, so you get all kinds of rewards and benefits just for spending with them. If you have any questions on how to place orders once you get enrolled as a wellness advocate, just let us know. I'll take you through a little class and explain to you how to use the website and how to use all these different resources. Now, for those of you who are on our team and do place orders on a regular basis and really use these oils and believe in them, we have put together an introductory class that we'd like to offer. If you'd like to host and get 10 people or more together in your home or a location that you feel like is most conducive to teaching a little class, we're going to do a little class on real food and essential oils to support real food. So it's going to be a really powerful class, about an hour long, not just an oils class. It's going to be actually an introduction to real food, where we talk about our 5 food groups, how to structure your daily eating, some other tips and points, and then how to use oils to support your overall, alternative practice, holistic lifestyle type stuff. So anyone that is willing to do that or wants to do that and share it with friends and family members, we get 10 or more people together. We're going to give you a diffuser, and we're also going to give you a bottle of our beloved infused coconut oil, which is extremely powerful stuff. All right. So if you have any questions on that, just let us know. And that is it. That's our presentation. So I'm not going to say I hope it was beneficial, because I know it was beneficial, because this is really good information, right? So let's just make sure that you share this information with other people. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, please feel free to share it with us, because we're just doing this for you. That's it, right? So if it's not beneficial or not as beneficial as it could be, give us some tips and ideas of things that we can do to make it better, okay? We care about you very much. We're here to support you. Let us know what we can do for you.